Yeah, pretty ridiculous actually.
Yeah. Was it before the changes or?
Oh no, it's because of the changes now with Pact.
Yeah.
It's actually like ridiculous. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, how the Pact works is, every time you die, you get an iframe, and it's like three parts to it.
Yep.
It's two,
Three
the two
timers,
second
right?
iframe, yeah, 2 second, then 8 second, then a 40 second, and it's affected by buff duration.
Mm-hmm.
So you can die like 15 times in a fight. Yeah.
Can you though? It's almost
Well, that
exceptional if you
not
could. Yeah.
well, not like 15, but like more than you usually would
Mm-hmm.
without like repercussions. So you can kind of just like ignore mechanics if you want.
Yep.
And be not as great as other classes. So that's what I appreciate about it. 'Cause I'm not the greatest at bossing.
Okay. So you're allowed to make some mistakes.
Yes, pretty much.
Okay, that's I mean that's good if you have that as a trump card, I guess. Okay. So you ready to officially start?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right. Let's try to balance my audio. Okay. Cool. So you are Dark Knight, as you just alluded to quite a bit, and you are enjoying the changes. I'm guessing.
Yeah, a lot. It's pretty great.
Mm-hmm. And would you say that you are going to play this character for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, so I was thinking to getting it to 250,
Mm-hmm.
maybe higher. I don't know.
Yeah.
I gotta see how the grinding is after that.
Sure.
But definitely 250.
Yep. And that's been good so far. So you want to keep that going?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the grinding isn't like the best, but it's serviceable. You
Okay.
could do it. Get
A-
along pretty well.
And do you measure your progress in the game generally by just what level you are, or do you have like other metrics that you're chasing?
Um, I think I'm probably like my boss,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. 'Cause I'm trying to like, I know, crazy, but I want to do like the easier version of Hilla when she comes out
Okay.
in GMS. So that's the goal that I'm trying to do, basically.
You mean the yeah? So we have normal Fihila now, but they're going to lower her difficulty quite a bit compared to where she's at now, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Because now it's barely less than Ferris Hill. I mean, it's a little bit less, but it's pretty close in every way. So I think it makes sense that they're going to make her significantly lower, so that it's more of a stepping stone for the higher boss rather than just a slightly tweaked version of the hard one. Because then if you could do that one, you could probably do the harder one right after.
Gotcha.
Okay, so if considering those milestones for the bosses, so what have you cleared so far, and what are you working on right now?
I did Easy Lucid. I could do Easy Lucid pretty fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to do Easy Will. I got to part three. Uh, didn't go that great.
Mm-hmm. Webs clogging up the map.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the webs, I just wasn't like moving around too great,
Mm-hmm.
especially on the which part? I forgot which. One of the attacks where he just hits you for a lot of damage. That one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the stay, move, alternation, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but for the rest of the parts of the fight, they're pretty easy actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Those are pretty far. And so I guess Easy Will is what you're working on now, and Easy Lucid is the hardest you've cleared, and you've cleared everything below that.
Yeah, I've cleared everything below that.
Okay. And like and normal slime, would you consider that like in between them, or?
I mean, I think normal time's easier for me than lucid, to be honest.
Yeah, it's Lucid is more technically, in the list they put her in between, but that's usually because Lucid is done in a party and Slime is done solo, right? So then,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I would agree that Lucid is more of a kit check, to make sure that you can just burst the phases fast enough, kind of thing, or survive the golems and the dragons fast enough. And if you have that, you can just be in there longer. And that Slime is more just a damage check, just burst it down basically. So,
Okay.
so is normal Lucid something that you would be interested in trying?
Yeah, I think I was gonna try normal lucid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure when though, because I don't really have like. I'm not sure what kind of ID and boss I would need for that.
Well, they say that
Does it, any,
normal is about twice the HP of easy, but I would say the metrics that you need are roughly similar, at least for those stats that you mentioned.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because like past all this is my first time doing any of these bosses on a character ever.
Mm-hmm.
So past anything here, I don't know. I'm just confused.
Yeah, I mean, but you've managed to make heads and tails of Will of the boss fight.
Oh yeah. I know Will's mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. It's not that hard. I think I'm not. I think I need more arcane force for him to have the max damage. I think.
Yeah, for sure. It's a pretty steep, and then once you go into normal and hard, like the fact that the level is quite high for Will also be more reflected in how long you take to kill him. Of course, the easier difficulty might be a little bit you can kind of like steamroll him. But he is level 250 and like 780 base requirement, I believe. No, not 780, 760 for arcane power. So for max damage, if you wanted max damage on Will, you need to be level 260 and have 1140 arcane power. So that's the
260.
yeah,
Okay.
that's the main reason why people will tend to move to hard Lucid way before they move to hard Will. Because just you can, if you have people who all know what they're doing and you can put out damage. You could have a party full of like 240 to 245s if you're funded enough to just blow up hard Lucid. It's not even that extreme anymore at this point. But party of 240 to 245s, if you don't have the arcane power and you're going into hard Will, might be still pretty tricky for that phase 3, especially if, everyone has to already know the mechanics. And I guess the other thing is as well is that easy, the main thing that makes Will harder in the harder difficulties is, especially compared to easy, is that the attacks do all hit harder, so you have to learn to dodge everything. And in easy, you might be able to tank some stuff, especially like phase 2 tests and everything. If you miss the legs and everything, it's very forgiving in the easy run. In the normal, it's already like, you have almost no room for error. And in the hard one, you have no room for error, basically. And then the additional difficulty is that the moonlight will replenish way slower. So that means that you're basically spamming it, right? When you're doing easy and normal, you can just always slam your moonlight. But when you're doing hard, you almost have to get to the point from easy and normal that you are barely ever using your moonlight, because that's how hard Will is going to be.
Oh shit.
No.
Okay.
So it's more about, like, in the beginning, it's more about figuring out like what does he do, and then as you go further, you'd learn yourself good habits to get to the point where you learn to dodge most things and like more see the patterns as like, okay, repeating patterns. A lot of times the legs will be alternating in hitboxes, right? So that when you see a leg hit somewhere, you move there instead so that you don't get hit by the next leg, because the damage will really accumulate. And the lack of healing in phase 2, unless you have a bunch of healing fams in your party, phase 2 will be very rough because everything will hit way harder, plus the no healing. So in the beginning, you'll see a lot of deaths if you're going hard Will. Especially in phase 2. And then you mess up the test one time, the whole run loses 2 minutes, and then it can get a spiral from there.
Yeah, I've seen some like hard Will videos like soloing. There's also like these blue balls that go around. Does that do damage too, or?
So for phase 1, you mean?
Yeah, like phase 1, I think.
Yeah, you have like the yellow and then like the purplish balls that fall from the sky. Those you mean?
No, it's like these balls that spawn around and they follow you, just like in the normal phase. Not the test phase. I think that's.
Is that in Damien?
I think...
So what you're thinking of? I don't think there are any big blue balls following you around. There's like green poison in phase 3. I don't know if that's what you're thinking about.
Is it?
You mean like the little balls, the very small ones that just float around?
Yeah, those.
Yeah, those will do damage. Yeah. Mostly what they were there for. Now they're not as annoying anymore. Is they would knock people back, so that if you didn't have your knockback resistance on, you might get pushed out of the leg during test, for example. Like you wouldn't properly be able to dodge and hit. So they would just kind of be annoying, or they would do just enough damage that if you missed the leg and you got hit by one of those, that would be enough to do 100% damage. Because even in hard Will, if you miss a test, you miss one leg one time, it's 90% damage. So that wouldn't be enough to kill you. But if one of those little purple fuckers hits you at the same time, you'll still die. So they're there to just be a little bit more annoying.
Okay, gotcha.
They were in phase 1 and 2, yeah. Yeah, I thought you meant like the really big blue balls. Those are in Damien, right? Like in phase 2.
Oh, those are I hate those. They're so annoying.
Yeah, you don't
But
like
not
it when it like cuts your burst by 90%. You don't like that?
yeah. When I first started doing Lotus and Damien on my arc, uh, I didn't know that, so I was like sitting in it the entire time, took like no damage for like the majority of the fight. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I figured that out. I was like, yeah.
Then you look at your damage numbers, you're like, wait a minute, those are small. What's happening? Why is the bar not moving?
Yeah,
like that final burst to
is...
finish him off, and it's like, that should have done more damage.
Yeah, you gotta lure the balls to one side and then find him because he's disappearing everywhere. It's just
yeah, it's
not
lovely.
a great fight.
It's lovely. At least with the lower ceiling now, sometimes you can go over the balls. You know, you throw out like a really big skill, and then you jump over and away from the balls, and then the damage is still applying, so then the large number of damage applies. Do that sometimes.
Yeah, I think you could do that with Arc.
With Arc, yeah. In the beginning, like you can do up jump into Abyssal, and if you're not too high, you can still hit him with the Abyssal, but still be above the balls. Or if he's hanging in the air, I'll put like the beast underneath him, you know, jump attack, and then when the balls are near me, and then jump out of the balls, go to the other side, and then the beast will still be hitting full damage. Whenever you can do something like that, would be nice. I guess you could do that you could do like up jump and throw a spear, right?
Yeah, you can do that as well. Usually what I do is I just lure the balls and then I just like throw spears at them as it's going past.
Yep.
That's what I usually do.
Whole bunch of spears, and that damage reduction on the spear is also really nice, right?
Yeah, 10% damage reduction plus with the healing. It's really amazing.
Oh yeah, you got lifesteal too, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically just a mini burst, to be honest.
Yep. Yeah, it's good stuff. Okay. We're talking a little bit about the bossing and everything. I guess we could finish up the intro stuff. So how much would you say you're playing, and like what kind of how do you fill your time when you're playing the game?
What I usually try to do is like after work, I get on like 3:30ish for my time. I'd usually like pop a totem and just do that. To be honest, I've been like lacking on dailies. To be honest,
okay.
Like I went like 2 weeks without doing dailies. To be honest,
okay.
Like that was before I was like 240. Because I don't know, it's like tedious to me sometimes.
For sure.
But now I've been getting back into it. I recently leveled up a couple of symbols. So I'm like 770 arcane or 780, I think. Something like that.
Picked up your 50 free symbols today?
Oh, I didn't actually. I haven't logged on.
Sure, you pick them up from the start tab. Yeah. Get your morass to catch up to your Asphera.
Yeah, pretty much. Besides that, I'm trying to get to Meister on accessory crafting. I heard that bidding on an alchemy is kind of tough, but I gotta do that as well. The boss potions.
Yeah, boss potions. Yeah, they're quite nice. They're not as important anymore because you're gonna, as you do more bosses, you're gonna get a lot more of the sparkling potions from the bosses. But it'll depend on where you get them and who gets to loot them and all of that for the boss stuff. But those are 2-hour potions. Being able to craft like the 40-minute ones and just have a supply of that, that is quite nice. I don't know if that's necessarily very important until you're doing like, I don't know, like Ferris Hill and everything beyond that. Before that, I wouldn't worry about it too much, so maybe tackle one at a time there. Plus, it'll give you some more time to get materials. Yeah, I think alchemy is, eventually pretty useful, but I don't know if right now is as important.
Okay, got you. So I'll just do accessory crafting for now.
Is that it? Treasure Hunter John Trace?
Yes, it is. I boomed it during the Shining.
Oh, boy.
I boomed it during Shining, dude.
It's less than ideal, I guess.
Yeah. I boomed my Connor ring and my glove as well. Honestly, I've been getting pretty lucky on this character. I don't know why, but I've been pretty lucky. Okay. It's strange to me. Like I got all my gear that's here to 17, and I only boomed the ring, the 2 rings, and my gloves. That's it.
Okay. You didn't safeguard anything.
For the most part, no. But after
After you
blew my
boomed, you
gloves and got
started.
him again.
Yeah, you started
I
safeguard.
safeguarded that one.
Okay,
But
okay.
outside of that, I did safeguard,
I see.
which is, yeah, I don't know. I got pretty lucky on that.
Yeah, it saves a lot of money, of course. What were we asking? Oh yeah. What kind of like dailies, weeklies, and stuff you do? And I don't know if you're working on boss mules and stuff like that because you got a pretty big legion.
Well, I have the arc that's what I think it's 232.
Mm-hmm.
Or 231, something like that.
Yep.
I do up to normal Lotus and Damien on that.
Okay.
But in terms of bossing mules, these are the only two bosses I have. I was gonna start working on the zero I have for the 250 burning in the next event.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna make that as a bossing mule as well. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get it to 250, but it's definitely gonna be a bossing mule.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if you can. I wonder if you're gonna be able to burn it because you can't burn zeros now, like ever.
That's what I was thinking as well, but I'm
not sure.
I don't see why they wouldn't, but
yeah, but that's trying to apply logic to MapleStory. That's always very dangerous.
You're right.
Like I don't see a good reason why not. That sounds like MapleStory would find one somehow. You know?
Because like there's all these classes in the game, but one class can't do it.
Yeah.
That just put like a kind of sour taste in people's mouths. But
yeah,
who knows? Whatever. If they don't, then I'll just give another class.
Do something else. Yeah. So you're trying to get a bigger EXP piece. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty big legion already.
Yeah, I've been luckily with all the events.
Mm-hmm.
So at first I was like just grinding the characters, but then I saw like, oh hey, these events are giving a lot of growth potions.
Mm-hmm.
So I just basically grinded the events, got all the event potions, and I got like most of my legion like this. But for like the beginning till like I think like 7.5, I was just grinding the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, it was not the greatest, especially Buccaneer before. That class was not great, honestly.
I think you had a lot of pretty old account, right? I think you had a lot of mega burns from back in the day.
Yeah, I made this since like Reboot came out.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? 2015?
Yeah, I believe it was winter 2015. Yeah.
Yeah, so I made it since then. I've been playing on and off.
Yep. On mostly by the looks of it.
Yeah. I think what was it? I think since like the last 2-3 major updates, I've been playing a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Before I'd only play like during the event and only for a little bit. But now I'm like playing like a lot of the time, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like off event, on event, doesn't matter. I've just been playing the game.
Yep. So you're planning to at least like finish a bunch of them to 200 with more growth potions as they come along?
Yeah, like as the growth potions come along, I'm just gonna put them into whatever I have below like 180.
Mm-hmm.
Then I guess when I get to that point, I'll just grind the rest out at 190. Should be fine, I think.
Yeah, because you've got the... I mean, I think it's mostly important probably to get the top 40 characters leveled up, and not necessarily all of them. Because if you look at your raid power, there's still definitely some room to grow there. And if you're comparing, you know, like a character, even like your Phantom is 6.1 mil, right, at 197. And then the Jet is probably geared, I'm guessing, pretty much the same. But that one's 8.4. You see how big of a jump that is, right?
Yeah, I see.
That's like 30% extra for 3 levels. So if you scale that up on all of the characters that are there, whose levels are counting, who are on the board, who are not to that level, you know, plus you get to cover more ground, and you have the changes coming in the Korean update, or the update that's already live in Korea on the end of end of August. That counts 2 extra characters for the Legion grid, so that'll give you an extra piece as well.
Oh, they're adding 2 extra characters.
Well, they're counting top 42 instead of top 40.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
Yep.
Oh wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
So yeah, they'll make it a bit easier to get higher raid power, you know, more coins. But I think that's because you're using your coins quite well. I mean, you only have like 2 days worth of coins buffer, right? So if you want to keep scaling on that, that might be something to further get into. Maybe like I don't know how high their Star Force is, because I think mine at around 10. Well, I got mine to 210, so that's a bad example. You have some around 200 in health. Yeah, because I think you can get to 9.3 to like closer to 10 mil if you just get like 11, 12 Star Force on everything and get accessories up. You get it closer to, let's see where the Dawn Warrior is. Yeah, the Adele is also 9.1, right? It feels like it's not that much, but if your lowest is like around 9 mil versus now the lowest is, there's one with 5 mil there.
Yeah.
I mean, that could get your rate power just from like 330 where it is now to like 400 plus, and then your average coin income will go up quite a bit. Because it seems like that might be a little bit of a bottleneck now, right?
Yeah, I haven't like Star Force like any of the characters like below the Jet. I haven't really Star Force any of them because I think I'm not sure. I think Jet was like the last one that I like actually grinded. And I put like Star Force and accessories on it, but the rest of them they just have random gear on them. I don't know what they have on them. I guess, but yeah, actually, pretty much. It was the Jet. It was the last one that I grinded.
Yeah, just some boss accessory stuff and Penciler is mostly what they end up with, I guess. And then anything that was burned might have some frozen or maybe a Fafnir here and there. But like the event you want to look out for is the 1+1 Star Force event, because that gives you, double the Star Force, and that works all the way up to 10 to 12. Also still works. So it's a really good event to get everything up to 12 for half cost. So whenever we see one of those running around in the in the event calendar or in the Sunny Sundays, you want to definitely mark that one, because I think that's the one where you can capitalize. Because I tell people not to really worry about the Star Force too much and just make a bunch of 200s first, because you see how much rate power you just get from getting 200, right? And you don't want people to spend like hundreds of millions just to get like 100k extra when you can spend that time leveling your character and then get 3 mil extra. Doesn't make any sense. But you're at the point now where that Legion is that big, and you can definitely capitalize on it by getting that rate power up.
Okay, gotcha. So I'll do that whenever I can.
Yep. Yeah, just whenever the Sunny Sunday hits, and then it's like, okay, some of the budget goes there. And it should show a nice return in Legion coins. I guess since we're on the topic of Legion and maybe on links and whatever's connected with that, did you have any questions specifically there?
I guess I'm not sure, because with the Starlight Symphony event, I know they have the EXP thing, so I was thinking, I don't know, maybe I should just like start getting those characters that are like 200 to 210 with the level 3 link.
Yeah, that's generally to get, when you're going towards the 8k or like around 8k, typically people start more focusing on getting the level 3 links out. Yeah, that's generally a good idea. You've got the AB, the Luminous, right? Those are at 200 now. Like you could use definitely, Gemini match on those guys, get them at 210. We're getting pretty close. I don't know if you used those level up potions already from the selector coupon.
I did. I used them on my Dark Knight.
Okay. Because those come back every now and then. So if you can use the matching game to get a bunch of them up to like 206 or maybe 208, get those easiest levels done. And then whenever the growth potion selector comes around, you can be like, oh, okay, I got 8 potions, so now I can make 4 characters that are 208, all 210 instantly. That way you can get a lot of value out of those potions. Because some people do like 202 and then level up 8 potions, which you can do as well. But of course, that's not as efficient on the potions.
Unless it's Mercedes.
Unless you really hate the character, yeah, for sure. Because we got the let's see, the DA is 188. That's also a really good level 3 link. And you already have the arc, so that's fine. Some people like the Beast Tamer quite a bit. Extra crit, boss damage. And you got another Dark Knight in there. I see. You really like that class, huh?
Yeah, that's the one I made like when Reboot first came out. That was the
Long time.
first character.
I see, I see.
I was like,
Yeah.
might as well keep it.
Oh, and the Hayato to 200 is also quite good because you want the critical damage from that, right? So Shade, Hayato, but I think you have another Shade, don't you?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
another shade in
Yeah.
Hayato at 200.
Oh, you have a Hayato as well. Okay, okay. I must have looked
Yeah,
looked over that
it's
one.
somewhere up there.
I was going by the weapons. Right. All the way over here. Okay, 220 even.
Yeah, I was probably gonna make that a bossing mule as
Mm-hmm.
long as with the Demon Slayer as well, whenever I can.
I see, I see. And the Lara's up there. Pathfinder seems like it's got some good gear on it.
Yeah, Pathfinder has permanent sea area on it. I have one piece of sea area in my book. Actually, no, I have 3 set actually. The buck, so I just gotta do Vellum on that. I gotta do that on Zero as well.
Mm-hmm.
Ron has permanent CRA with the fake Apso.
Okay.
And I was probably gonna do mechanic, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice
It has
array of
CRA.
characters. Not like the general
Yeah.
same ones that everyone does, you know?
Yeah. I at one point I was gonna do mechanic over Dark Knight, but I was like, you know, honestly, it takes a lot of funding to get that class going, to be honest. So
For
I
me,
was
it's
just
like the
like,
missiles, you know? Constantly like having to tap the missiles while you're attacking.
yeah, and it got kind of annoying when grinding, especially when you do no damage early on. I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
do I really want to do this? I was like,
Seems like
I
Dark
just
Knight
kind
was
of,
the choice for you.
yeah, I just went with Dark Knight. I was like, this class is amazing now, so
Mm-hmm.
why not?
Yeah, I think all the Explorers got really good rework, so I don't think anyone's complaining there.
Yeah, and also Shadow Warrior was pretty good too as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they've definitely not been complaining.
Maybe that's a character I'll play one day.
Mm-hmm. I see you got a lot of options, and I think you're thinking about the right stuff. So I think you've got correct thoughts there on where to work on and what to keep in mind. So I don't think there's too much there for me to teach you on.
Okay.
So I guess since we're past all the introductions and stuff, and we already got into the Legion things, did you have like a specific list of questions of stuff that you wanted to get through that we can use kind of to go through everything?
So essentially, I don't know anything about late game at all. I don't know anything about how to get the Arcanes. I don't know the process to that.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have droplets and stuff, but I just don't know anything like past starring Apso at 17.
Mm-hmm.
So anything past that, I'm just lost.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, so
Also,
Arcanes used to be very... Well, we could do one at a time, and then we'll...
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Do one at a time, and then I'll say what the rest.
Yeah. So Arcanes were really hard, and especially for quite a while that they existed, it wasn't really a good idea for most people to go for it, because it would just be a waste of effort, you know? And if you eventually were able to afford just like a weapon, that would be a huge upgrade. But nobody was really, like 2 years ago or something, or even a year and a half ago, I wouldn't really advise people to go full Arcane. It just didn't make any sense. It made more sense to just go high star Abzo, go 20 star Abzo, 21, 22, you know, because you can transfer hammer level 150 stuff into it. So it's way less risky to go high star on Abzo, even without backups. And you would get so much more damage that way guaranteed than, you know, how much you would have to spend on Arcane, because even if you did get Arcane, you know, you would have to risk Arcane past 17 to be able to overcome 21 or 22 Abzo. So it just didn't make much sense. But since then, they've changed a lot of things in terms of how good it is or how easy it is to get Arcane. So in no particular order, they increased the drop rate for droplets. They reduced the price per coin. They reduced the price in coins. They got the droplet exchange. They added more droplets to event shops. They have now droplets completely for sale. They added Arcane drops 2 bosses. Then they increased the Arcane drop chance 2 bosses. And then they increased how many bosses drop the boxes. Well, the drops, and now they changed the drops to boxes, which gives you even more transferability. So all of those things combined basically made Arcane way more attainable, and the reason why the meta now is to go for Arcanes and keep your Abzos at 17, basically, because it's more likely that eventually you will be able to afford backups and or get backups, and therefore the chance that you end up with 19 Arcanes at least, right, or maybe even higher, is substantial in such a way that it doesn't make as much sense anymore to go for like 20, 21, or even 22 Abzos. I would say there's still a place for that, but it depends on how much you play, you know, whether you think you're going to be getting direct access and how many characters you're trying to get to that level of funding. Because I don't think it's reasonable to say like, oh, I'm going to get like 6 characters full Arcane, because, you know, then the scaling of that price and getting stuff past 17 is going to be quite, you know, quite hard. You might get into a bunch of hard boss parties and get lucky with some drops, you know, and then that way, if one character gets the drops easily, you know, it'll be a bit cheaper that way. But in general, I don't think you're going to get like full Arcanes on more than 2, maybe 3 characters in your account, unless you're just, you know, constantly running on 12 characters a week or something, right? Just to mass produce and hope for armor boxes. So I think there's still a place in the meta for high star Abzo, but it depends on your total account progress, and at least for 1 or 2 big characters, I think you can go full Arcanes now. So the general step from Abzo is basically 17 Abzo, and the next step is Arcanes. Typically the weapon first. Some people might be like, you know, very hesitant to buy the weapon because it's so expensive and because it needs so many droplets. Even though that's true, I still have yet to find someone who really regretted buying the weapon, even if they got a drop the day after, just because it's so big of an upgrade and it's typically something they've been pining over for so long, and you've had the resources sitting in your inventory, and I don't think anyone has ever thought like, oh, that was a horrible decision. And if you get it, you know, if you get a drop, then you have a backup and you can Star Force it past, you know?
Yeah.
It's just that big of an upgrade. Plus, you know, it's a semi-permanent weapon. You know, you're going to keep it for a long, long time, so you can also go way harder on like the flame and on the potential without feeling like, oh, this is going to get replaced, you know?
Okay.
And so for the armors, it's typically, you know, you keep doing the bosses, and then eventually you can afford one, or you get a box and then you pick one. But you don't have to go, because of the changes to the set bonus, you don't have to do like all the pieces at once anymore. If you just have one piece, you can switch it out, and the Abzo piece basically breaks apart better, and the Arcane set builds up better.
Okay. So you can pick the like which armor you want from the box?
Yeah, any of them. Also, so like if you get a box from Lucid, you could also pick the shoulder from that. It could be any of them. But the weapon and the armor are different boxes. So if you get a weapon box, you know, you pick a spear, and if you get an armor box, you can pick any of the ones that you're still short on.
Okay, that's pretty good actually. I did not know that.
Yeah, they start dropping from Hard Lucid and Hard Will, and then basically all the bosses beyond that, they're all Arcane bosses.
Okay, so what you're telling me is the faster I get to Hard Lucid, you know, the faster I get Arcanes.
Yep, more chances you will get on box every week. Yep.
Okay.
And it have pretty good chances. I mean, I'm not gonna say every single run, but at this point, since the boxes and the changes in Destiny went through, I think there are more runs where at least someone in the party gets a box than when no one gets one.
Okay. Wow, I'm actually pretty excited to do Hard Lucid then. Okay.
I hear Fuzz in the chat said he got one on his first run. There you go.
Oh, really? That's nice.
Happens.
So it doesn't matter like which order I get like the armor pieces, like Abso, or
not really. I mean, generally, just like with anything, you try to get the pieces first that give you the biggest upgrade compared to what you already have, right? So you know, your potentials are all roughly the same, your flames are all roughly the same, so there's no immediate like, oh, this one definitely needs to be switched first kind of thing. Do you have the... Hang on, where are your shoes? Oh.
I think I put it... Oh, where are they actually?
There's always something that falls off. I guess your shoes fell off.
Oh shit! I did not put it.
But I'm gonna guess your shoes are like roughly the same as like the cape or the shoulder, right?
Yeah. So let me just tell you what the shoes are. They're 17 like everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's 36 and 5% all stat, and it's 23% strength.
Okay, yeah. So just a bit better than the cape because of the better flame.
Yeah. I can't believe I didn't put it in there. I looked over this like multiple times, by the way.
Yeah,
And I
it's
was
okay.
like,
It's okay. Oh, everyone forgets something. You're only human, okay? You're fallible.
that's
um,
crazy.
yeah. But yeah. So generally, I guess if they're all pretty similar upgrades, some people would try to go for the glove first, because that would basically give you the green light that if there's a cube cell or something like that, you can go pretty hard and try for double crit damage lines on them. Because that's generally a little bit overkill for Abzo because they're so temporary. But then once you have Arcane, you're going to keep that for longer. Double crit damage is a good investment. And a nice damage spike. A little bit of stat loss, but good damage spike. And then once you have two pieces that, 2 set bonus already for Arcane is quite nice. So then you can get the ball rolling. But yeah, as far as all the other pieces go, it doesn't really matter.
Okay. Also, a question about my WSE. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know like what to aim for. So should I like just go for what is it, 3 line of attack, and on most of them, or should I like get like attack and like boss and ID on it on all of them or something like that?
Yeah, so there's a
Sure.
lot of possibilities, right? There's a lot of outs. The thing is that every single character, based on their kit and general stat accessibility on other things, will end up with something that is generally for your class the best in slot. And for most classes at this point, some classes are low on IED. They'll want 1 line of IED, and then they'll probably want like, let's say like 2 lines of 1 or 2 lines of boss, and then the rest attack or magic attack. That's like if you have low IED. If you don't have low IED, then that line of IED can be replaced with either boss or attack. So it's usually like maybe 2 lines of boss, 7 lines of attack, something like that, or maybe 1 and 8, or 9 and 0, or 6 and 3. These might all be very, very close. So just because something is the best, it doesn't mean that the second best thing is way worse. It could be like a difference of 0.5% of final damage, for example, as a multiplier. So yeah, sometimes people will be like, oh, you need to get full attack. But if you hit, like 7 and 2, for example, right? Like 7 attack and 2 boss, that could be so close that it's never worth your money to re-roll that unless you've literally re-rolled everything else in your account first. Just because of how expensive that can be. Especially like an emblem is, relatively cheap there to min-max on, but the secondary and the weapon could be very, very expensive. So if you get anything there, that's just 3 useful lines. So if it's like, even like 2 line boss, 1 line attack, or a line attack, a line IED, a line boss, anything like that, usually initially that's good enough to hold on to. And then you work on all your other gear, then maybe min-max the emblem, and then really see like, okay, what do I really need here, and how expensive are these upgrades? Because it could be in the hundreds of billions. If you would want to min-max like your potential on your secondary to go like 3 line attack, for example, like 100 bill is definitely not unheard of. That's a pretty standard like budget for that. But you'd have to know, oh, what does 100 bill get me in other areas, right? So it basically means that all of your other stuff is going to be 21 starred, and like all the accessories 3 lined, everything else 2.5 lined, before you ever circle back to like 3 lining stuff. And usually that's all very much the information for that usually just comes from the calculators. You just throw in like, okay, what do I want to get? What are my options? How much is that going to set me back? And then you can very easily tell like, okay, I can get, I can gain 10% damage on my secondary for 85 bill, or I can spend that same amount and get like 8 stars in my equips, which is like way more. Get like 160 stat and like 100 weapon attack or something. Be like, okay, well that makes more sense. And then yeah, so usually WSE being like 2 useful lines is really good. Probably up until your CRA is at least 21. And the other thing is also, you're still going to be changing your weapon, right? So I wouldn't be trying to min-max your emblem or your secondary until you've got your weapon more sorted out. Because, what if your weapon rolls like, let's say your weapon rolls like 40 IED, 13 attack, 10 attack. Maybe you don't need the IED, you go into your calculations. but it's still useful for now. So that means maybe that, you know, since you have ID there, maybe you can go boss damage on familiars if you get them, or maybe you can go link skills, you can go higher on damage, you know, and then comparatively damage will have a little bit of reduced efficiency because you're getting more damage there, so then maybe you want more attack. But you basically want the more rigid parts of your account, which is your potential of your WSE, whatever rolls out there, you want that to determine how you're going to assess your other stats. So this is talking about hyper stats, Legion grid, link skills, you know, maybe even member bonus in the grid to a lesser extent. Those things you'll basically try to fit around whatever potential you have in your WSE and whatever your kit already needs. Because I believe Dark Knight has pretty high IED and good crit rate, right?
Yeah, they have, I think, let me look at it since I have the game open. Gungnir's a set, I'm pretty sure it gives 30% ID, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What else go? Dark Resonance passively gives 30% IED, and then like active it gives 10% IED and 10% final damage. Along with 15% loss.
Yeah.
I think there's something else that gives IED.
Maybe your big the 5th job, the hurricane thing, spear hurricane thing. Does that do ID and crit?
So yeah, so the Cyclone,
yeah.
It ignores 50% IED. It has 100% crit rate as well.
Yeah.
Also, the Spear has 50% IED on it.
Yeah. So IED for you can be on the lower end, which means you probably still want to get some IED if you lose that 40% on your weapon, right? But you're not full superior set, right?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
I have one superior earring that dropped for me.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so you know that is going to fill in the gap of 30% of it, so your ID will be fine even without that. So you don't need that line anymore, and the arcane weapon comes with 20 base ID as well instead of the 10. So, you know, with familiars here or there, you will definitely be fine ID wise. So that means in general, as long as you have budget, you don't need any ID on your weapon, you know. So
okay.
Like the example that I said, if you do roll like to 23% attack and a line of ID, you might still keep that because that's a 2 out of 3 plus, right? And if you don't have the budget for 3 out of 3, that's still something you keep. But that wouldn't have any implications on the other pieces for you. So it would be mainly that for emblem, yeah, you're really only looking for attack. So what some people will end up with like is like 2-line attack, 1-line strength, 2-line attack, 1-line damage, something like that, before they eventually dish out like 30 to 40 bill to get that 3-line attack. And for secondary, yeah, any combination of attack or luck. Attack or boss damage, because I see that you have a luck line on there. Monkey see, monkey say, I guess. My bad. But yeah, so any combination there, like 1-line boss, 2-line attack, 2-line boss, 1-line attack, anything there that would be more than this would generally be a hold for a long time, because I think you're going like 21 CRA, probably like 20 superior stuff, and full 17 arcane before you really circle back to go really high, to go really hard on the secondaries. One thing you can do is if you have a lot of pieces is you just make a second Princess No on the side and just like donkey roll some red cubes or some Meister cubes whenever you can. And then if you get something better, then you can just switch them out. But that basically is just to make sure that you don't have to lose out on your value and you don't have to use black cubes, because using black cubes would be more expensive than just making a second legendary.
Right, okay.
So that's something you can do if you want to, if you feel like you get a lot of cubes that you can get mileage out of and you do want to, have a chance of upgrading.
Yeah, I definitely get a lot of cubes, so I didn't like calculate the average, but I think I get more than 10 from a week. Like between Meister and Master Craftsman, because I also do like the daily bosses as well, so like
yeah, you got some characters set up to start doing some more serious weekly, so that's only going to go up, yeah.
Yeah, so I do normal mag on this character only. Normal mag, normal Papulatus. What else? Arcarium. I mean, those generally give a cube, since I think I have like 140 drop. Sometimes CRA drops one. If I do it, they'll drop a Meister cube or two, or Master Craftsman.
Yeah, they can definitely. Yep. Even the normal ones sometimes. If you're doing normal bosses, you could also include so I don't know about normal Pap, maybe not as valuable. I probably do normal Queen and normal Vellum before that, just for the soul shards there. So you can get some magnificent soul chances in the long term.
Okay. Makes sense.
Especially once you get the arcane, right? You want to get a nice nice stat on that.
Most definitely. For Gollux equips, should I? How much coins do I have now? Let me see. I know some of this stuff's changed. I have 379 coins, so I don't know. Should I go for the ring first or the pendant?
Yeah, I don't know what would be the biggest. Well, you did blow up a ring, so or 2 rings, so maybe you have room for rings. I don't know.
Oh wait, actually, I got a Connor ring, so
Oh,
my
nice,
last
nice.
PMO run, so that's back.
Yeah, usually it doesn't matter as much which one you get first because the thing I said about the Abzo and the Arcane, like you don't really have to wait until you have the full set, right? You can just switch them in one at a time. That's not true for Superior because Superior pieces by themselves are actually quite shitty. Their base stats are not good. The only reason you get them is because their set bonus is insanely good. So until you have all of those, you don't really switch them. So which one you buy first is not as important there.
I got you. All right.
Yeah, ring pennant. You know.
So, for my V Matrix, I'm close to maxing out Spirit of Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
It's 29 right now, so
Yeah, I saw it was pretty close.
So, so after I max that, since it's like the main skill I have, with the cooldown that I have, because I was in the I'm in the Reboot Central Discord for the Dark Knights, and they said the cooldown hat is the best thing to get.
Oh yeah, yeah, you can spear all over the place.
Yeah, so I think it's on like it's an 8-second cooldown. So after I maxed that, I'm not sure what else to max next because Cyclone's pretty close there, but I don't know. I don't feel like I really need to max that just now. So I'm not sure if I should go for my my boost nodes, or should I max some other skill that I have? I'm not sure. Or should I go for a holy symbol? I don't really know.
Did they have any specific advice in the Reboot Central or in the Discord for this one? For the class Discord? Because I would imagine if you're throwing out spears all the time, right? So you're not as bursty as other classes are. Because if you're really bursty, I think at this point people want to throw more, want to start looking more towards if any of their burst skills are very important, which, you know, you have those two, would probably be to start looking into the Goddess Blessing, because that will increase your burst more. If you're more DPM-y, people in general will also be looking towards Weapon Aura, because the uptime will go up as you level it, plus it'll give more final damage, and IED as well, which, even though, you know, you're not starving for IED, it's always still nice to have.
Okay, I got you.
So it might be those two, and then depending on your rotation, it could be also working a little bit on the bind, just in case it synchronizes better with your burst that you have. But that's, I don't know exactly the cooldowns on every single level of Urda Nova. I'm not quite at that point.
I'm not sure either. I had no clue.
It's a good thing to check, like if it can sync with your big burst at least, so that you can always synchronize that. If not, leveling that up a little bit will help you out.
Does it synchronize? Actually, no. I think
so
I need to level up some more because I think Darkness Aura and the Cyclone are like 2-minute cooldowns. I think. Yeah, they're 2-minute cooldowns.
Yeah, I don't know. Does anyone know in chat by heart like what level you need to be on Urda Nova now to get 2-minute cooldown? Is it? No, it's not max, but it's like close to max if you want that. That might be a bit too extreme to try to do that. Because I think like level 8 or something gets it at 3-minute cooldown. Maybe level 9. So I think you have to be like level 23 or something probably to get it to 2-minute. I think it's near max.
Oh,
or it might be 25. So like level 20 and level 5 slot. I think. But yeah, I can't look that up anymore because at least if I check the wiki, they haven't
they do that?
Haven't been updating that in a bit. Like really old versions of the skill, version 233. Yeah, I believe that's the. Oh no, this is the updated one. Oh, nice. It goes up to 100. Yeah, 100 seconds at level 30. Yeah, 120 seconds at level 25. Yeah. Yeah, it might be a bit. That might be a bit much this early on. It's probably like, but I would double check in the if the class Discord has any advice. But I would guess that it would be connected to either Weapon Aura or the Goddess Blessing. But I don't know if they just want you to max out all of the 5th job skills first, because I mean, it's pretty chunky in damage.
Yeah, because I know that since Evil Eye gets boosted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And it also boosts Radiant Evil Eye and then all the other Evil Eye skills. I'm not sure if since it's at 60 now, since I have like 3 boost nodes on to make everything 60, my main skills. I'm not sure if like Evil Eye, Radiant Evil Eye is that important to max out right now, because it's at 17.
I guess Dark Knights use the Explorer Warrior class Discord. It seems the Paladins and Heroes have their own now. Oh, but you have to like sign up with your role and everything. MSPIGN. And then it'll give you a role depending on your level, I guess. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, so I can't really get into the Dark Knight Discord without signing up that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I would guess the general 5th jobs first. Your basic ones, your class specific ones, and then either the Goddess Blessing or the Weapon Aura, and then maybe looking into the bind is probably it, because I don't imagine that your Impenetrable Skin is that important. Holy Symbol could be nice, right? That's always someone on the side that's never bad to level up on. But all the decents are like eh. And then the Blitz Shield can sometimes be useful for training as like another AoE that you can throw out with the
yeah, I use that in rotation
the double tap,
if I remember.
It's more one of those things where if you have like a free slot, you can throw it in extra. And I guess when you're mobbing, there's a few things that you don't really need, right? Like the Goddess Blessing and the Blink are not very useful there, and the Bind. So that just creates... Yeah. I guess you just put those last 3 in there, just have 3 extra AoEs. Or the Holy Symbol, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. When I boss, I take Holy Symbol off and all that stuff. When I have my training page on right now, so I have Holy Symbol, Blitz Shield, Rope Lift, and Urda Shower.
Okay. Yeah, I would say the True Reckoner Reflection is also quite nice. Both mobbing and bossing is good summon, but maybe when you level up, you can have a slot for that.
Yeah. I'm 243, almost 243 right now, so should be 245 soon.
Yeah, you're getting close.
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure how the grinding is past the whenever, like 250 or whatever.
I mean, you get the Moonbridge. That should be a nice injection of damage and EXP.
I'm not sure what your max character level is right now.
I have a 280.
280? Okay. How's the grinding there?
It's fine, but it's slow. So if I wanted to level past 280, it would be, I believe, something in the ballpark of like 32 totems. So like 64 hours. Yeah. Oh. It's because past 270, like the EXP doubles every 5 levels. And the EXP goes up like 10% per level in general, right? But that 10% is hardly noticeable in like the 220s, 230s, 240s. You can almost say it's the same amount of EXP. But the higher you get, if you're going from, you need 30 hours to train, then the next one is 33, right? And then it's 36 point something, and then it's 40 plus, like, so it then in 3 levels suddenly you have 10 extra hours of training, and it's like, oh, it starts adding up quite a bit there, which gets us to the point where people who are already 290 are like 15 years away on the regular totem pace from being able to get to 300. So
that's crazy.
If you,
I don't know how people are 290.
Well, they were 290 because of Kanas, right? They were able to Kishin themselves, so they weren't limited to the totem amount that they had.
I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, and then non-reboot, of course, because of frenzy totems. So yeah, there's no way that Reboot now can compete with with non-Reboot, because they can just still keep frenzying, and we're just, yeah, the only way we can scale up is if you get extra accounts with extra characters on it that do weekly bosses that can afford totems, and then totem yourself with the other characters, but you have to level them up to the areas, right? So if you want to go start training in Odium, you have to get a level 275 totem mule, which will be
that's a bit crazy.
a bit out there. Some people might have one or two, but even then, you're like doubling or tripling your speed, which is significant, but it's still, you know, instead of doing 15 years, it's still 5 years, you know, if you triple, so it's, yeah, significant, but it's still endless. Yeah. It's gonna be waiting for new areas, crazy EXP scaling, I don't know, something's gonna come up. I think the main thing that could save us is if somehow, like the Monster Park Extreme, did you see that update?
Yeah, I saw, what's his name, XD Iran? Steve? Yeah, I saw him do the video on that.
Yeah. So the only way I could see it happening that, you know, Reboot can like compete again is if something like that becomes an actual training spot where there's like a giant map and everyone can, you know, train freely next to each other without getting in each other's way, basically, and in some way that compensates for not having extra runes and all that stuff. That could be a way that we could finally scale up again, because then everyone has totems in the party, right? So then you can 6x the amount of totems you have and the amount of training you can do, and then you can significantly speed up again how quickly you can progress.
Yeah, I hope they do that, but it's next on, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Hoping for a lot here.
Yeah, well, we're kind of hoping for something that they do for the Korean server that then ends up having a huge impact for us because of totems, right? Or because of how the game is different for us, that they might, you know, overlook, because as far as they're concerned, we don't exist, so...
especially Reboot.
Yeah, Reboot doesn't exist and GMS doesn't exist, so we're just, yeah.
Bottom of the barrel.
Yep. Who? Omega Lol? Doesn't even compute, yeah. Yeah, so I would guess the general 5th job skills and then those other ones, yeah.
Okay. I just want to say that familiars, this system is like not good, honestly.
Wow, controversial take. Are you sure you want to make that? you want to say that?
I mean, no. I mean, like getting the stats that they give you, that's amazing, sure.
Yeah.
But actually getting the cards and getting the stuff is just terrible, honestly.
It's not good. No.
I probably farmed over like 600 cards, maybe even more. I wasn't like actually counting, but definitely more from Obscura, and like I haven't gotten a single good line at all, except for the drop rate I have on my which one?
Drop rate by a small amount, yeah.
Yes. Everything else has been like absolute trash lines. It's been crazy.
Are you revealing all of the commons and the rares?
No, I'm not. I revealed the commons, and then I see if I get anything decent on that, and I'll level it up to epic, and then hopefully I was trying to get like more drop rate from one of those. Hopefully.
Yeah. So the main line you're looking for now, if you still have like just a lot of commons and rares, is to try to get the increased item drop rate from rare, or if you're making epics, then you're looking for like a large drop rate, right? Increase item drop rate by a large amount. You can still get 15% IED from common and rare as well. So that could be, you know, just a nice little damage injection, especially if you're going to move out your weapon and get the ID away without your superior set coming in yet. That might make it so that you don't have to, you know, shy away from switching into the arcane weapon. I don't know how close you are to that, but that could give you a little bit of a buffer. And it can also help you on, once you get the ID and the drop rate on this one, and you get some cards that you can't fuse up, you know, because it's all different types of cards, you can definitely throw those onto secondary characters and characters that you might want to turn into boss mules to make sure that they get some 15% ID as well, because not all the characters have as much ID as the DA, and some of them might need it quite a bit more. Okay. And it's just a lot of free damage early on. And if you combine that, you know, like you can get two 15% ID familiars, which is basically the only thing you can get in the beginning. You combine that with your Legion and your Lynx, and all of your characters are going to need way less funding to be able to do CRA and, you know, even up to HMAG maybe.
Okay, good, sure. Yeah, I was trying to get to the 245 first before like.
Yeah, for sure. And then 245, you know, if you're in Moonbridge, you'll get cards out the ass anyway, and then you can start mass producing those epics.
Yeah, pretty much. So I have 80 of the Arcane River Droplet stones, and then I have 31 stone origin droplets. That's all I have for now. I was buying the flames out of the weekly shop though, but I'm gonna start buying the droplets now.
You mean the event shop or?
Yeah, the event shop, the weekly thing that they have.
Yeah, the Harmony coins. You mean those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shop.
Yeah.
Is it good to buy any from like the merchant, or should I just like stick to events?
The droplets? Yeah, I would typically just do the events until because you're gonna get closer and closer and closer, and you need to do enough lucid and will clears to be able to even afford the weapon, right?
Right.
And then once you get close to having those droplets, then I would look at, like, how many shy are you, and then you're probably going to be pretty close, and then you can just buy the rest, just to get the weapon early. And it's not like you're going to have, that you're going to be overspending, because there's always a bunch of other stuff you're going to want to make. So as much as drops exist, yeah, you still don't want to count on them.
Yeah, because the last totem I did yesterday, I got like one.
Yeah, those are gonna happen. And hopefully there's another one that gives 6 or something to compensate, but who knows?
Yeah, I think the highest I got was like 7 one time.
That's nice.
Yeah, I'm not complaining though, because the last one I got like 34 nodes off of it, so. It's alright.
Yeah, you get a little bit from a lot of different sources, but yeah, as you get closer to being able to, these are the regular droplets. Do you have Oh yeah, because you don't get anything from easy, right? From easy lucid, you have to do at least normal to get those drops.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't ask, but are you specifically trying to do like solo the whole way through, or does it just end up being like that?
For most of the bosses, yeah, I'm trying to solo them. Because I wanna try and just get better at bossing, to be honest.
I see. Yeah, it's really the bosses if you start doing like normal lucid, but yeah, normal lucid and up, it's all pretty much designed around being in a party of more than one, and a lot of the mechanics are just going to be really ruthless if you're fully soloing it. But yeah, I guess you'll feel by that point as well that like moving up to the next boss to being able to solo it is going to take a long ass time, especially if you're trying to move to hard lucid. It is doable, but if you were to say like my goal is to do hard lucid completely alone, then again, like because of what we talked about before, you might make a much stronger argument there on trying to go for higher star Absolab first, right? Because you're going to need all that damage by yourself, which is way more rough to do than just 22 star CRA or something. That's not gonna
Okay.
So depending on how much pressure you feel there to, I still want to do it all alone, or with someone else, or because even if you're a guild, guild skills help out a lot, but even just a duo will take a whole lot of pressure off of being able to do something like that.
I got you. I don't know. I was just like trying to test out how far I could go solo.
With the I think technically you can go all the way solo, but you will need to have a different upgrade path.
Mine? Okay.
You'll need to push way harder on the equips that are required to kill the boss, right? Rather than relying on the drops that are already coming from the boss, because you just won't be able to do that if you're soloing.
Okay.
Because the bosses are generally designed that you kill them in a party, then get the drops from the boss, and then when you circle back, you'll be able to solo it because you get the strength from the drops from the boss to be able to kill it faster. That's kind of the idea behind it. So if you're trying to do only solo, you're always going to be having to over invest on the pieces from the previous boss to be able to kill it solo, because you can rely on the easier accessible strength from the boss itself to kill it with.
Okay, so like my stat right now, I should be able to do normal lucid in a party, right?
What stat are you at?
20. I'm 20.6 now, but in the screenshot I took, I'm 20.1, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, you'll always see those, It's megaphones. People looking for 25k plus. That's just because they're looking for a free run. That's like 3 minutes, but yeah, it should be fine.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll think about it. If it's better for me to just go for a party or just do solo, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think up to normal Lucid, you can probably solo. It's definitely a bit harder than easy, but if easy is pretty doable for you, then normal might be just around the corner. The jump to normal will solo will probably be pretty rough, but if you can get your weapon, you know, because normal drops like 1 or 2 of the droplets, right? And you need 24 to make a weapon, so, you know, that's already months. They're in progress there, right? Yeah, like at least 6, but probably up to somewhere between 6 and 12, so month and a half to 3 months. In that time, you can make a lot of upgrades and other stuff, of course, and there's definitely some stuff where you can push for more upgrades more easily. I have not really, because the characters I got to do Hard Lucid solo with were definitely, you know, past the point of doing party runs for quite a long time, and then even then sometimes we're only barely able to solo it. It's really, because when you think about it, you know, all the synergy between the party members, so it's like, you know, it's not like 1 + 1 + 1, you know, it's not equals 6, right? It equals like 8 or 9 or 10 or something, right? Because of synergies between characters. And then if those parties, you know, even if they're decently strong people, they might struggle even. So you're trying to get like 10 times the damage of like a singular person squeezed into one character. That's that's an insanely, especially for those hard bosses, that's an insanely high measure to hold yourself to. I think to the normal bosses you probably can, but then hard, I know you can, but it would take years probably to get to that point with the amount of progress you would need.
I got you.
Because you're probably looking at like 40 plus K stat at least until you're going to be trying that. So double the stat is not double the time, right? It's exponentially harder. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so that's something to think about.
He's inspired by Kobe. Kobe hasn't said. Yeah, Kobe does do a lot of stuff very early in the game, I know. And he's also a Dark Knight player. I don't know if you've seen his stuff before. Iceland Guns.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've seen his stuff before. The reason I was playing Dark Knight is because it's a Vihilla solo. Yeah, because he said like after the changes, he could do it now.
Nice.
Because of the pack, because it's actually pretty crazy. Like, I'm telling you, the pack thing is like actually crazy.
Yeah, when I saw the numbers, it felt a little bit weird. Because the scaling on the lower end ones is like really bad, and then the higher one is like, it seems like barely more effort, but then lasts way longer. But you don't really want that one because the cooldown is too long, right? So you want like the middle one, I think. For the 3 modes, right? You want like the middle duration one, I think.
Well, usually, I think in the Dark Knight Discord, they told me that going lesser packed is the most optimal for most of the time, and then like when the boss is close to dead, you want to do either the final or the middle one. Usually what I do is I go to the final one. And
right. Because then you can
ignore their
ignore the last 20% of the boss and just immune all of it. I see. Shortest one is the best. Okay. Just because the cooldown is so short.
Yeah, basically.
Use it so many times. I see.
Yeah, like when you die, you get it. I think like in the hyper skill, you don't use it, but they have a thing where it reduces the cooldown by 30%. But it's not the most optimal thing to get from what I've seen in the Discord.
I see. All right. Okay, I'm kind of like scrolling through the stuff. I don't know if there was anything you were specifically asking about, because yeah, we were talking about the gear and stuff a little bit, but you have full drop and meso set, so that's really solid to be able to hang on to. That's a good foundation, right, to make all your money.
Yes, but pretty much. I don't know like what gear to transition to damage gear. I know that getting like force set superior, of course, but I guess what is it? The Guardian Ring?
Yeah. The Meister that you're working on, right? And Ancana Treasure. Those are all options. Can get reinforced in there, but typically you want to be saving up Gollux coins for the transition into jumping into 21 into the superior after that, right? Which might net you some cost there to tap. And in general, if you get a slime ring, then you also, if you want to make that big jump there, then you also need to be able to buy an extra superior ring for that. So there's quite a lot of coins that go into that, plus the upgrade from High Star Force Kana or Meister to High Star Force Reinforced is a very small jump. So you can always get one and YOLO it, see if you get it there. But if you don't, those coins can be used better probably as an insurance for the higher Star Force superior stuff. Typically, that's when you move into the Sweetwater stuff as well, right? So like transposing a Dominator pendant for your second pendant, tattoo for the face, and a monocle for the eye, or Black Beam Mark if you get those. And then pray.
I haven't gotten one yet.
Yeah, pray for Papillata's Mark, which you probably also haven't gotten.
No.
Slightly more rare even.
I'm not even sure people get that.
Some people get lucky. Thought you might be the chosen one. I don't know.
I don't know, maybe because I've been pretty lucky on this account because one of my rings got like double drop in a line of stat.
I saw that, yeah. That is quite nice to start off with.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. Should I go for like start transitioning to like all my damage like accessories, or should I like get some like drop accessories for bossing since I do that a lot?
I see what you mean. The main thing there is budget. Do you feel like whenever an event comes around, do you have enough money to like capitalize on it and start doing some projects? Start making some upgrades.
I don't know what like enough money is, to be honest. I think like the last Star Force I had like 6 mil, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if that's an okay amount or like lower. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on how close the events are specifically, right? We did have the DMT before that, so I'm guessing you also spent some stuff on that, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like since they did the DMT and they did Shining Star Force, I didn't really like have all that much in between. So
yeah, exactly. That makes sense. Well, I probably get since the condensed power crystal is already unique, I probably try to get a lot of the line of drop on there because it's so close. But yeah, the next step is definitely the Superior Gollux stuff, Sweetwater stuff. So I don't know if you're doing Commercy, if you're trying to build up your boat there for backups.
Well, I haven't done that yet, actually. I started the quest line, but I haven't like finished it.
That could be the well, when you say the quest line, do you mean like the pre-quest or in the quest line in the area?
Pre-quest.
Okay.
I haven't even done that.
Okay. But yeah, the pre-quest is the voyages and everything. That's probably a good thing to get started on. Yeah, that could take the place of some of the more of the daily bosses that are just there for the crystal, maybe, if you find yourself struggling on time.
Okay.
So yeah, either Black Beam Mark, and tattoo, or if your condensed power crystal rolls a lot of strength, it can happen. Then you can get a tattoo for drop rate, and then this one will be damage, I guess. And then yeah, Pink Beam Mark or Monocle, whatever you get, but you're going to be investing quite a bit of mezzo into leveling up your boat first, so that you can make even more dineros once it's at the level 3 boat at the Dreadnought, and then you can have a lot of backup, so you don't have to safeguard, which you don't seem to be a fan of, so that's good. Then you can just send it and don't have to safeguard, and then you'll also have the dineros to be able to get the droplets and transpose the Dominator into the
Sweetwater pendant.
Into the Sweetwater pendant, yeah. So you'll need you'll need some time to get a good flame on a Dominator. I don't know if you have a backup Dominator.
I recently got one, actually.
Okay, nice.
I got a backup Dominator, and I also got another Primal Essence.
Okay.
In the same run.
Oh, that's a good one. You don't see that very often. I think I've only had it 2 or 3 times ever that both of those drop. It's pretty rare.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe this character's a chosen one. I'll get a Papillon mark.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, again, you still need a bunch of time to build up the boat, right? And with the dailies anyway, so that gives you plenty of time to get those backups, and you still need the time to get all the coins and possibly get the drops from not from HMAC. What are we talking about? Drops from Gollux, right? Yeah. So in that time, it's all just like saving up money, so that when those pieces come around, you can use the events. So that gives you time to get the fodder for the superior Gollux stuff, right? Because all of those can be risky, and with safeguarding and everything, gives you time to build fodder. And then when the 30% off comes around, you can just send him to 15, hold on to him until a 15 event, then tap him to 16, transfer him, tap to 16 again, safeguard the last star, and then you're going to be good on that.
Yeah, because I did the same thing with my reinforced belt. I was going to transfer over to a superior belt when I get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you have the enraged second belt, right? If that was the ping bean belt, then you would have been able to transfer that over directly. But I guess the flame is good enough. Yeah. Yeah, and then by the time you think about it, you've already invested too far, and you're like, well, too late now. Might as well, work on a side project for the other one.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, well, whatever.
Yeah, nah, it's not that bad. Yeah, so I guess, are there any equip? If you look into your equip window, are there any equips where you're like, from where you are now to where you're going, that you have any questions?
I can't get a badge.
You have a heart, by the way? Did you buy one of those?
No, I haven't bought a heart yet. So okay. I was gonna do like I haven't done my weeklies on my arc yet. So after I do that, then I don't know, maybe from farming. Actually, I have in total I had like a 1.5 bill. So
that's pretty close.
I was probably gonna buy it then. I guess. But in terms of equips, I guess since the main thing that I should be like working towards would be the arcane weapon, right? And then
arcane weapon on one end, but that's probably a longer term project than, or maybe around the same as like getting the full Gollux stuff, right? Because if you're starting from scratch, getting full superior Gollux is usually about 2 months work. And even if you start killing normal Lucid, it'll probably be somewhere between 1.5 to 3 months until you can afford it. So that's going to be like roughly in the same time frame. And so it's going to be, so Commercy for the dineros, so you can get those. And then once the superior comes in, because that basically breaks apart your entire boss accessory set, which means that's the final straw that makes you switch from drop meso gear on one end and full damage gear on the other end. So then you want to have the dineros ready to fill in the gaps. And that's going to be and then arcane weapon after that. So that's going to be a big switch. And then the only thing that you're left with then is adding the rings. So hopefully you get some kind of treasure rings by then. You can craft some meisters. And then you can, wear whatever on the 4th slot, either the strongest event ring you have, or if you find a slime ring, or, if you want to, some people buy a reinforced ring at that point. But whatever you can fit in there won't be that important, because your whole account will be a lot stronger by that point.
Okay, I got you. So, would it be better to get a 21 star, because I know there's a 5, 10, 50 coming up. So would it be better to get my CRA to 21 if I can? Or like, should I start working on flames on my gear?
Yeah, because the accessories, I mean, you need time for all of those things, right? So, and you can probably do some upgrades before then. The flames, let me just check on all of them. So like flaming on the spare Dominator to set yourself up for transposing is something you eventually want to do, but again, it's probably a little bit too early now because you still have to start up with the boat and do all the leveling, right? So it'll be a little bit too early to get into that right now. I don't see any flames that are horrible here. I guess the CRA could be a bit improved. The Abso is decent enough. Yeah, I guess I don't know, you get flames from the weeklies anyway, right? So you can use those to, one at a time, bring up your CRA a little bit. But probably don't need to buy any flames, honestly.
Okay, so don't buy any flames, gotcha.
Nah, I mostly save for CRA tapping. Try to get them at least all to like 19, and then if you have plenty of money left, then see if you can get a 21 out of there.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I guess so like what would be like the ideal setup to if I were gonna like do the solo thing?
Yeah, that truly depends on how far you're gonna do that. But I'm pretty sure. So let's say you wanted to like solo hard lucid, for example, right? If that's what you want to do, you'll probably need. Yeah, you need 40k stat basically. You have the Legion and the Lynx, so that's a solid foundation. You won't need 3-line WSE, but you'll need at least 2 useful lines on everything, and then if one of them is 3-line, that would be very nice. We probably need CRA at 21. So I'm thinking of the 40k stat characters that I have, without like the arcane stuff. So like my marksman. And my hero roughly at the same point, and I think my hero might be getting closer, but my hero probably needs like 42, 43k stat, I think, something like that. But the or maybe you could do it at 40, but that's only because his burst is really good, so it's almost more problem to get to phase 3 than to actually clear phase 3, right? You can be a little bit more class reliant there. If you're way burst reliant, then the trouble is getting there. And if you're more DPM wise, you could have an easy time getting to phase 3, but you might just never be able to clear it, which I think that might be Dark Knight's bigger problem. You could definitely, yeah, one of the things is definitely just ask some Dark Knights who soloed, be like, hey, how strong were you when you soloed the first time? I would guess you'd have to be over 40k stats, so that means 21 CRA, 100 plus flame scores on there, 2.5 line stat most likely, probably at least 20 absos. 2.5 line on there, probably flame score like above 100 as well, like 110 plus. Probably full. You probably don't need full 20-star transfer hammered superior, but if you have that, that would be very useful. And again, the more DPM you are, the more you would probably need that. 3-line heart. Yeah, and then all of your accessories, probably 19, at least. I'm guessing the one that I didn't mention yet, and then 2.5 line to 2.5 to 3 line, but probably 2.5 would be okay-ish. And then arcane weapon, like a tier 6 plus flame. Yeah, you definitely need that cooldown skip on your hat. Maybe even more than you have now, maybe 3 seconds. I don't know if that scales very well past the 2 though, because if your cooldown goes under 10 seconds for the spear, then it might not be as efficient. So that's something you might have to double check.
I think in the Discord they said just
2's fine.
Most ideal. Yeah, the 2
and then 2 lines of stat. Yeah, that would probably be yeah. Yeah, because you're basically just like following the progression, but then scaling up a bit, putting a few scoops on top of that.
Pretty much. I know. It's like that's like a lot to. I think I could do this, but I want to like give it a try at least. See if I can do that.
Yeah, you're most likely looking for numbers pretty close to the end here, to like the end of late game. Except for the stat is a bit on the high end, so yeah, closer to like 40 to 42 probably. But the other stats, your Legion is already higher. ID you'll get there pretty much automatically. Yeah, Starforce maybe a little bit lower, but around there.
Is there anything in my Legion I should change right now, or you think it's fine?
In your Legion? Well, the level 3 links will help a lot.
Okay.
For the characters, and but for your setup, that looks totally fine. I mean, there's there's like the one block that's overlapping, and then the one that's lost here, but that's minor stuff to move.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to fix that, but I'll figure it out.
But yeah, the main thing I would look at for Legion is to get your Legion raid power up, so that you can have access to more coins, so that you can be just making money faster and getting to the point where you can go harder on the Starforce projects, basically.
Okay.
Does he need buff duration? Yeah, so he's building up to the buff duration here in the mobbing setup. I'm not quite sure for bossing how hard people go on buff duration. Because you've got it in the normal monster damage setup, right?
Yeah. I kind of just added that there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Yeah.
not sure how to fit that. I'm not sure how to fit that into my bossing page. I don't know what to take out of there. That would be good for
Well,
buff duration.
if you do end up rolling like attack and ID on your weapon, for example, and you do get superior
Right.
Gollux, at that point you probably can take ID out in favor of it.
Okay.
Yeah, or you get like ID familiars, you know, instead of nothing you have now. Then ID is probably as weird as it is, because for most people the ID is like the sure thing to lock in, right? But yeah, considering your extra ID, that might be the one that you move out, or a little bit of boss, maybe like a little bit of both. But there's also because boss can be added on by other stuff as well, especially once your links and your legion get. Sorry, not your legion, but like your links get a lot higher. There's a lot of damage and boss damage that can come from those sources as well, and all of that put together can put a bit more strain on like the diminishing returns for boss damage, and then you can see yourself closer to the number here in the progression grid, right?
Right.
Let's do that 400 plus, which I imagine you're not too far. Yeah, you're closing in on 300.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess inner-ability, right? Some buff duration there will be nice, but I imagine you've been rolling a little bit too hard already, so you're...
Yeah. I was like rolling off of it, and hasn't been going well.
Yeah, that's a good way to get really low honor, and then not that much. The 50% mezzo is really nice, of course, but yeah, that'll bankrupt you if you roll off event. So I would try to strictly roll on.
I was trying to get I was trying to get 1% attack speed, or not 1%, like +1 attack speed, but I've been trying since I started this character, so.
Yeah, it's just if you roll off event, you're just giving yourself fewer chances to get it. And of course, you want to. You're trying to get lucky, and everyone wants to be that one person who's lucky, but statistics say that you're never going to be, or you're not the person who gets lucky, because that's the exception, and only one person, or like only a few people get to be the exception, right? So as much as you would love that, I would always just put a budget on how much you're going to roll. Be like, okay, I'm going to roll 20k, or I'm going to roll 100k, like, but always keep something of a healthy buffer if you know that you need a certain, you just need a certain quality from your inner ability. It's very important. The buff duration and the attack speed are very, very important stats, and you already have the Mesoptane, which you don't want to get rid of now, which I get. So that means that you're going to have to roll with locking, which is already more expensive than other people, so you're going to have to be extra careful with your honor.
Right. Oh. Yeesh, I shouldn't have rolled the meso then.
Wait, you rolled away from the meso?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, maybe I shouldn't have rolled onto it, so it wasn't so expensive to keep it.
Yeah, what some people will do, they'll roll like meso on the top line, and then just have that for a while, and then get anything useful out of 2 or 3, maybe some buff skill duration, maybe some drop rate, something like that, and then just save like 1 million or 2 million or 3 million honor experience, and then go hard. Once you're doing, now you're making that jump to hard lucid to hard will, then they start more min-maxing on their inner ability, and then with circulators, trying to get that 38% buff duration, and then once you have that, lock that in to roll for your attack speed, and then if you have that, you roll in for like anything on the third line. Some people get crits, some people get boss damage, anything there, or you get meso back again, that's possible, but meso is good early on for sure, but when you have it, it's good to realize that this is pretty much as good as it's going to get. So like Mesoptane and buff skill duration and nothing on the top line. It's not ideal, but it's probably okay to have for quite a bit until you need more. Yeah, until everything around the game just tells you that you need to be more min-maxy, I guess.
Okay. I'm not sure if I should put any like budget into my arc to get it like their star players up. Have an easier time doing normal Damioning and Lotus. I'm not sure if I should do that.
That might be something around the same time, or maybe after you work on the CRA stuff, because like you said, we're going to get CRA to 19. That's probably going to be fairly soon with the amount of speed that you're making money. But then the next step after that is a whole bunch of expenses towards equips that you don't have yet. So there could be some time in between that you still want to make some general gains on your account, but it doesn't necessarily have to be on your Dark Knight just because the pieces aren't there yet. So that might be a good idea to circle back at that point.
Okay. Because it's I think it's 15k stat. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Let's check.
Yeah, 50k stat arc with guild skills access.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should have no problem, but it might be like, what is it, like 15-minute run for both combined?
You guys at 14.5. Actually, no, my pendant expired, so.
Oh, rip.
It's probably that.
Yeah, probably.
I have no money on it either.
Mm-hmm. Is it like 15-ish minutes or something? Or 10 to 15 for like together?
I think both of them it's like 10 I think together for
okay.
Naming. I think it's like 10 together.
Okay.
And I have a four set superior on it. So.
Oh, nice. Before the Dark
Knight. Yeah, I used to play this class a lot, but
I see. Yeah, you moved around a bit.
Yeah. It's a 5 setup, so 4 set superior and other stuff.
Oh, I see.
Has a badge. Has a Goshen badge as well.
Then you definitely want to capitalize on it, yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking, maybe I should just do some star forcing on it when I can. Maybe get it to easy lucid for more money whenever. Okay, so trying to think, is there anything else I'm confused about?
I see here you have see one of your presets here. You don't have the arc link skill in here.
I think let me see. I think that's my bossing one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that in.
Yeah, I would, since arc is just staying in combat, which is what you always do, I would always put the arc link skill in there. Based on which ones you have in here, definitely put it instead of the hybrid logic one. Like Allstat is nice, but Allstat does get outscaled quite a bit the further you go. And you also don't have the Cadena here or the Explorer Mages. I will try to get those two in there as well. So Explorer Mages will definitely be better than the Rin's Blessing, because this is 10% ID, right? And then the Mages stacked is 9% damage and 9% IED. So that'll be a net positive. And then because of the Mages, you debuff the... oh, sorry, it is there, yeah. But the Mages debuff, so that will trigger the Thief's Cunning, but it will also trigger the Cadena Link skill. So definitely put the Cadena Link skill in there. I guess that one instead of Rin's Blessing then, since you do have the Mages. I overlooked that one. And Noble Fire is mostly good if you're partying. If you are soloing, it is possible to sometimes be overpowered. What's the cooldown on your Cyclone? Is that a 2-minute?
Yeah, my Cyclone is 2-minute, along with my Dark Aura.
Mm-hmm. I guess since you're a little bit lacking on the burst, it could be nice to throw in the terms and conditions there, the Angelic Buster link. And then, because that's on a 90-second, and then you don't use it every 90, but then you use it right before you use those 2-minute burst skills, and that'll give you a nice little extra boost on damage on them.
Hey, all right, I just put it on.
I think for bossing that'll be quite a nice extra boost. Yeah, you don't need all of the resistance and the utility and the survivability as much, of course, because you're just immuning everything.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
I think that'll be quite nice. And then I guess eventually you'll get some more level 3s, but that's pretty much just going to be on the ones you already have on, so there's nothing extra to change around there.
Okay.
Isn't Cyclone 3 minutes and Aura 200, or both 3 minutes? If they're 3 minutes, then it's easier to synchronize your bind with them. And if they're 3 minutes, that does mean that you can use terms and conditions once in between, right? Because of 90 seconds versus 180. But you have to double check that, I guess. what's it called? Calamitous Cyclone or something?
Yeah, okay, they're both 180, you know.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's 3 minutes, yeah. So it does mean it's easier to sync your bind, right? So maybe revisit the timer on there, just to double check.
My mistake.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. That does mean that it synchronizes perfectly with domain, so that's cool if you do end up partying. But yeah, that means that you can use 2 terms and conditions by the time you can use one of these. So you can, you know, throw out a terms and condition and then use some AoEs and throw out a spear and all that stuff. And then you'll have it right back once the Deuter is back, once your Cyclone and your big explosions are back.
Okay.
Yeah, other than those links, oh, maybe do you find yourself moving around a lot when you're mobbing? Because typically when you're mobbing, you move more, right?
Oh yeah, I'm jumping around all the time. So
so the Ilium link might be.
I think the last 2 grinding sessions I changed it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay, I changed it. So I have the Ilium link in there now.
Okay. And do you have the Aaron link in there as well?
No, I don't.
Okay. Because I feel like you're probably fine on killing. So if you lose like 1 skill, like the Thief's Cunning, for example, or the Pirate's Blessing, you know which one you switched it for. Maybe even the Hybrid Logic, like one of those is probably, if you drop that, you're probably still killing just fine. So I would see if you can drop one of those just for the Aaron Link skill, just so that whenever you do harvest, you know, those orbs, you just get more EXP. It's one of those things where there's no cost, really. It's just a net gain of a little bit of EXP, which is always nice, right?
Actually, let me test that out right now. I guess I'll take off the. Let's take off the Pirate's Blessing and put it on.
Yeah, because it's just a bunch of main stat, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me check. Oh, somebody's here.
Don't kiss.
Of course not.
Never.
Yeah, I can one shot.
Guess it'll just be a little bit extra EXP whenever you jump into those. Especially if you're in the same map for a while, you know, those big yellow orbs, that adds up over time.
Honestly, I thought it wasn't too useful past like 210.
Yeah, but once you get to the point where every single little bit of EXP that you can get is desirable, yeah, then might as well. Sometimes people get to the point, you know, for the shape of the Legion, that you eventually get to the point where sometimes you don't even need all the normal monster damage to kill. Once your arcane power is high enough and your boost nodes are high level enough, you can just kill without that as well. And then moving the normal monster damage Legion into the bonus EXP might also just be a way of getting a little bit extra EXP per per training session.
Okay.
But yeah, that might be just a little bit experimentation, moving around and seeing if it works.
Yeah, 'cause I think like per totem right now, I'm getting I think 40%. I think. Around there. Depends on like how good I do my rotations.
Yeah, in my 250s, I was getting around 25% or a little bit below that. Yeah. So that would mean somewhere between 40 and 50 in the 240s, roughly, you know, because, you know, map, rotation, everything might make it better. So like 40 plus-ish sounds good. MVPs and everything, you know, that's a big impactful there. Once you do more higher level bosses, you get more MVPs. That's always really nice.
Yeah, I'm really glad they added the MVP stuff. Because I think they also dropped the small potion.
Yep.
That gives you 10%.
Well, they can. They definitely don't always, but yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, they definitely don't always, but you can get that 10%. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm kind of down bad for those, but try to get as many as possible.
Yeah, I only got 3 last week, so.
Ooh, that's pretty good, yeah. It always sucks when you do a character, you do like Akechi and everything below, and then you get 0. Like,
yeah.
Unfortunate. But those are not impacted by drop rate either, so it's just full YOLO.
Not.
Yeah, no.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be like, oh shit, I forgot my coupon, and people are like, oh, it doesn't matter anyway. I was like, oh yeah, shit, I forgot, because you just expect it to be impacted, but then it's not. So.
Wait a second. Question: is the path mark affected by drop rate since it's so low, or?
So it could be. I'm also inclined to say that it, at least for a while, I was inclined to say that it wasn't, because you would have people just, with like near 400 drop rate running for 3 years and not getting it, and that feels just impossible to me if it really was impacted by drop rate. And then someone, just no drop rate, first run gets it. You hear that more than once, then that feels like it isn't impacted, but maybe it is. I don't know. We still have yet to see a comprehensive list of, hey, this is, these are all the groups of items, and these are all the groups of drop rate, and this is what applies to what, and this is how much it applies, Until we see that black and white, I'm not inclined to believe anything they say about it, because last time they were like, okay, this is how drop rate truly works. It wasn't true, and then like 3 days later they had to add more text to it, so I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I don't know what to do there. I don't know if I should trust all that. Just,
wasn't there like a problem like a while back, because I wasn't playing then. I think there's a problem with like the bosses like not dropping flames or something like that, or cubes. I forgot which one it was.
Oh yeah, that it happens quite a bit, because in Korea they changed that, and then for us suddenly it was changed, and they were like, why did it change? And like, oh yeah, we'll change it back, and then they kind of change it back, and then another update hits, and then it just changes again because they just copy the code again, right? Yeah, so that's fantastic. And then now the last change is that they basically, the flame drop rate went way down, because the flame drop rate now isn't affected by drop rate at all anymore. It's just affected by how difficult the boss is that you kill. And that is coming when they were already saying that they were going to increase our chances of getting drop cubes and flames, because in Korea the goal was to increase the chances compared to before with their changes, but that lowered ours. So they were like, okay, we're going to restore it, and we're going to find another way to increase it, because that's what was intended. And then now we're have even less. So instead of being at like a +1, we're at a -1 now. So we're considerably below where they said that they wanted us to be, and definitely where everyone in the game wants to be. Cube drop rate is still fine, but the flame drop rate is not at the point where they said anything was going to be. Then again, we do make a lot more money, and we can buy the flame, so it's not the end of the world. But it should be consistent with what they say that the goal is for the game, not just copy the code and then be like, oh, whoopsie daisy, That's a bit.
Yeah, I see that happens a lot, way too often.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's what you get when you don't have your own dedicated developers, and you just have to get everything copy pasted over from Korea. So that doesn't help.
Yeah, very unfortunate.
Yep.
Wish we had it otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole budgeting and corporate structuring kind of thing. So that's a whole other session's conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like we got to the bottom of everything that was needed?
Yeah, I think so. I think I have a clear goal what to work with.
Okay.
I guess I'll just try and work on my gear and then see what I can do solo. If not, I'll probably just find a party. If not, anything. I'm not too opposed to doing a party. I just want to see if I can try and do solo.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's not like you structurally just don't want to do it. Just curious,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Okay. Well, I mean, I wish you good luck with all of that, and hopefully all of the upcoming events will be fortunate for you. I hope we get one of those 1+1 events soon, so you can buy all those mules some better gear and get your Legion raid power up. That'll help you with the income and all that stuff.
I hope so too.
All right. Well, yeah, good luck. And I'll post it on YouTube so you can check it back if you need any more details. And I'll see you around in the chat.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye. Yes. All right. So hopefully the session was useful for you guys. If you guys are Dark Knights and you heard some things that you might disagree with, because it is a newer class with all the changes that I haven't played yet since the revamp. So if you heard some things that might need tweaking, or you want to help me or the guy in the session out, make sure you leave some comments, and then they'll be able to see it. Other than that, if you want to win a free session, make sure you also leave a comment with your Discord name. We'll be drawing winners somewhere next week for the July entries. So last chance today. And I guess as a general reminder, if you guys see the video today, it is the last day of July. So make sure you buy out your reward shop in July. All of that before the reset, before all of those totems get reset and all that stuff. Okay, so if you want one of these one-on-one sessions, check the description of the video. If you want to see any of the commands that we use, any of the resources, check out my stream, twitch.tv/Scardor. You could use the commands there and have access to all of these resources. And if you don't want to do any of that, I'll see you in the next video. But if you do that, I stream every day over on Twitch, so I might see you when I'm live, and then you can ask me whatever you want. A little bit low on energy today because I'm recovering from party yesterday, so I'm a little bit hungover. But we will be back with super energy later, okay? So I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching.